I'm going to tell you in this video why you should weigh yourself every single week and why it's even more important to weigh yourself every single week throughout the next month or so. Now, you've probably been told in the past to not worry about your weight. Okay, this is something that has been ringing constantly inside the fitness industry for the good part of the last decade. Okay, I remember clearly back when I first started as a young PT, and I'd see people come into the gym, leave the gym week after week after week, and their bodies, they wouldn't change, okay? And then they'd go into classes, and they'll do one class, and that one class would then turn to two, and then turn to three. And then I'd hear conversations of them coming out and having a chat with their friends about, well, my weight's not moving, but I'm feeling great. I'm exercising this much. And then a trainer would kind of walk past and ears would prick up, and the trainer would say, well, you're building muscle, so muscle weighs more than fat, so don't worry about your weight. And I believed it for a long time until I kind of went through my own journey with my own body shape, and then I trained a bunch of other people from Gen Pop, and then I really started specializing with mums, and formed the opinion over the years that if you don't have control of your body shape, if you don't have an internal compass or a GPS to know when you're feeling, looking and functioning well, then you need an external one. You need something that's going to give you a kick and say, hey, look, you're going in the wrong direction. You are going in the direction that's going to take you down the path of not looking the way you want to look, not feeling the way you want to feel, and not functioning the way you feel as well. And the quickest, easiest, accessible way to get that external idea of where you are, that compass, that GPS, is weight. You're not going to stand in front of a camera and do a front, side and rear shot in your undies every single week. And chances are you're not going to get the measuring tape or the body fat calipers out and do those kinds of tests every single week either, right? But the thing is if you don't have something that's telling you every single week, you're not going to have anything to kind of keep you on track and affirm to you whether or not you're going in the right direction. Okay, so I kind of think of it like this. If you were to go on an extended holiday, 4 or 6 weeks, and you had a amount of money in your bank account, and you budgeted for $10,000, okay, and then you went on this 4 to 6 week holiday to Europe, and you started spending cash, okay? You flew into Dubai, and you went to the casino in Dubai because you had 2-day layover, and you're like buying cocktails, and you're gambling, and you're doing all this kind of stuff, and you're spending that budget. Would you look in your bank account to see the balance? Would you have a quick look, right? Chances are you probably would. And you would get a gauge of how you're doing. You'd kind of be like, well, I'm 2 days into my 4 to 6 week trip and I've spent 5K and I've only budgeted 10. I'm going in the wrong direction. Time to tighten up, okay? So the same thing goes here with your weight. And I kind of find it crazy because if you're on a journey where you want to look, feel and function well, but you're totally ignorant to a fact, the fact is your weight. I mean, you can't be a female at 80 kilos and look, feel and function well. It's impossible, okay? Unless you're 7 foot tall, right? That's just a fact. So if you want to, then you need to kind of get real with the facts here and weigh yourself every single week, weigh yourself at the same time every single week, with the same process in the morning. I get my mums to weigh themselves in the morning before they've eaten or drinking anything, right? And after they've gone to the toilet. So then they get to see and watch what they do, right? And here's the next part. Here's what makes weighing yourself really bloody effective. You get this wrong and you're going the wrong direction, right? Watch yourself and what you do. What's your instinct when you see the weights on the scales and you don't like it? Me and Megan, we joke about this. I'm a female when it comes to my body, all right? And I had a really bad habit of getting on the scales, not liking what I saw, and doing one of two things, which were both taking me in the wrong direction. Two things that I used to do that I didn't like. First one would be the typical response of seeing the weight, being like, well, stuff it, I'm going to go and have a massive binge anyway, right? The second thing that I used to do is I would look at my weight and I would do things to manipulate that weight, right? I would eat less. I would starve myself. I'd purge. I'd drink a whole lot of water in one day and then pee it all out all night so that I'll weigh less in the morning. Right? I'd do two really bad things, and it wasn't until I collided with myself and I collided with the fact that I was basically really effing it up, where I started to change. And then what I started to develop was this ability to remove myself from my own body, watch myself standing on these scales, seeing the reaction and doing the opposite. Right? When you do the opposite of what you're currently doing, of what you habitually do, then what you're going to do is you're going to change. It's as simple as that. Transformation is not hard. Transformation is one of the most simplest things, right? Because all it is doing the opposite of what you currently be doing. Do that for long enough. So do the opposite of all of your reactions for long enough. Be proactive, don't react. Do the opposite of what you've done for the last 20, 30, 40 years, however many years you've been on this planet, and you'll transform. It's literally as simple as that. The problem is the complexity of the human brain and figuring it out and being able to step outside your body and look at what you do and do the opposite of that, right? So here's the thing, is you need to have that external GPS, that trigger that basically tells you you're going in the wrong direction, to give you that quick, swift kick up the bum. Because chances are, if you weigh yourself next week, right, and you've had a Christmas party this week, and you've gone to that Christmas party with friends you don't really like from work, and you drank a whole bottle of wine at that party, and then you weigh yourself, right, and you yeah, the cat's asleep over there. Hey Alana, I'll talk about the online program in a second. Sorry, I'm just on fire and I'm on a roll here. Yeah, so if you've had this Christmas party and you have gone and you've drank a bottle of wine, and you've looked at that Christmas party and thought, did those people really deserve me drinking a bottle of wine, or could I enjoyed that bottle of wine somewhere else with somebody else that I enjoyed more at a different location, yada yada yada. If you have that epiphany, that's what transforms you. That's what takes you a couple of steps forward, right? That's what creates gaps in between all of those indulgences that people do every single week. The funny thing about Christmas and about the festive season is that people go throughout the whole year, and as once or twice a week they're indulging for no good reason. They get to the festive season and they're really worried about how they're going to keep the 5 kilos off that they blow out on every single year, and they worry and they stress at these really meaningful events where they could have done the work 10 months before. Now, if you've gotten to this stage today and you haven't done the work for the last 10 months, you're going to have to say no. You're going to have to say no to a lot of things, right? Your Christmas, it can't last 2 months, right? It can't. And it's not sexy for me to say, and it's not appealing for me to say, but it's just the truth, and I can't lie to you, right? So you need to pick and choose these battles, and you need to pick and choose where you're going to indulge and where you're going to hold back, and the person that you're going to become out of this. So this video is starting to sort of drag on. My main point here was you need to weigh yourself, and you need to weigh yourself every single week. It's not going to be forever, it's not going to be for life, but it's going to be as long as you need to do it until you get that internal compass that allows you to up your standards and keep you from straying as far as you stray every single year during this festive season, or over winter, or any other insert chaotic part of the year here.